welcome. I'm Peggy. Well, we're going to talk today about history. And you may think in this busy, crazy world we find ourselves that it really doesn't matter. But no matter how you look at it, it does. And I have two experts here, educators, writers, and they are very much involved in the history of South Carolina and particularly where we live in the upstate. And I thank you for coming and sharing your time and your stories with us. And I want to, of course, Kelly Odom is here. Now, most people think about Kelly Odom and the Pickwick Pharmacy on Augusta Road.
That's correct.
And they're here from the Historic Preservation Commission for Greenville County. And next to him is Dr. Ann Blythe, and she is the chairperson. Now,
no, it's Ann Payton.
Ann Payton, excuse me. And she has also been a teacher, and still is, for how long?
44 years.
So you are an educator, and you see the reason for what we're going through right now.
Exactly. As an educator, history is extremely important, and we know that if we don't learn from our mistakes in the past, we are very likely to repeat those mistakes. We also need to appreciate those particular sites and not only artifacts but sites that are available to us in our area to bring in not only education for our students about our own history and where we came from, but for others to come in and appreciate. They're already coming into downtown and loving downtown. Mm-hmm. And we need to bring in more of the history that's not just downtown but throughout Greenville County.
So we've lost a lot of buildings and things that we should not have lost, I guess.
That's correct.
That's right.
And historic preservation can be a part of progress, not hinder it. You know, it can help promote it.
Exactly.
Now, I'm going to show this at the very beginning. You both have written books, and you still are writing.
Right.
And this one is yours, Anne, Images of America. This is done. Are you doing this in segments? So that, like, this is Fork Shoals.
Right. That's
So I'll hold
Fork
this
Shoals. Up. And I'm doing basically southern Greenville County.
Okay.
Areas.
So you zero in on certain areas, and these books are available at Barnes & Noble and Pickwick Pharmacy and various other places, the History Museum. Yeah. And this is the Greenville's Augusta Road. And I love that Augusta Road section. And there's so much that we walk down the street and don't even think about.
That's exactly. There's so much history you don't realize, you know, just one block off or what actually happened at a certain site. There's, in my process of doing the book, even though I grew up in the area and listened to my parents who both grew up in the area, still learned so much going through the process.
And I worry that some of our schools are not being taught American history.
Well, you know, we work on that. We teach American history, but we're not teaching local history very well. And that's one of the things that we as a commission would like to promote in a better way. And we've tried to come up with some ideas about how that we can promote local history, not necessarily just in the classroom, but among families who can travel to areas of the county and appreciate the history. And the rec district has been very good about accommodating and pulling in history as they set up parks and so forth that are very good for pulling in children, students, families.
And I think it's become a a moneymaker. I mean, look at
Exactly.
Charleston.
Exactly.
Charleston, South Carolina has been put in the front as one of the places in America to visit.
Right.
And so that brings
Exactly.
in dollars all year long to the merchants, the restaurants,
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly right.
And that can happen in Greenville. And it has begun, I think, already to be happening.
Because we have a tendency just to kind of pull down something that gets old.
Exactly. And Greenville has had that reputation. And that's one of the things that the commission would like to help people understand and see, that those historical sites can be money-making
Yeah.
sites.
And I think both our city and county local governments are realizing that too.
Right.
You know, with the preservation of Main Street, various other areas throughout the county too, and what we're working on our commission with them.
Well, all right, that's what I want to, you feel this is very vital and important.
And we've got several projects we're working
Right.
on.
What are you, I know about the Wilkins House, and we're going to talk about that, but
Certainly.
what else is on
The
the
Pellet
plate?
Mill office, which is just off 14, off I-85, and then in the upper part of the county,
Right.
the Blythe Goodwin Haygood House.
And they're trying, have they already succeeded in saving these
Yes,
places?
we're currently with the county and the Wright District restoring both of these structures.
So they've stepped in
Yes.
as
Yes.
considering this an important thing.
Right,
Yes.
and they will be open for the public to see and view and be educated.
Now Kelly, you wrote the book about Augusta Road.
Correct, and I'm working on a textile book now as well.
Okay, and you wrote the one about
Fort
Fort
Shoals.
Shoals, but you're working on another book?
Right, I'm
Let us see
working
what
on
that
that.
is. You want
This
me to hold
one-
it up? What is this?
This
Ann?
one is on Piedmont, which is a mill village and one of the older mill villages in Greenville County, and was one of the largest textile mills in the world prior to 1900,
Wow.
So,
with 4 mills running at the same time.
and they were like cities. I mean, everything was there in
Right.
the village for the people.
Exactly. The mill ran the village, provided everything that was needed for their workers, and as well as churches and schools and in any infrastructure that was needed. And they promoted culture as well. They brought in all kinds of entertainment. They had opera houses. They had everything that their people could need. They even bought camps in the mountains of South Carolina that they provided for vacation areas for their
families.
workers.
Isn't that incredible?
Now we've lost our mill villages. I mean, they're gone.
Well, not really. We still have them. We just don't realize that that's what we're riding through.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that we're trying to work on. We did a survey of
Over 5,000.
1,100 sites or something like that in the county, and 6 mill villages were designated as possible national historic sites and districts. So one of the things that the commission wants to do is to designate, put up signage and that kind of thing, so that we'll know that there are 3 in the southern part of the county
Right.
and there's 3 in the upper part of the Greenville County.
And these sites will also be mapped on Greenville County's website too. So, you know, a family or anybody can go on, they want to figure out what to do this weekend. Well, I can go look on the
Right.
county website and see what historic areas are I can go visit for the day, you know.
But most of those villages are closed. I mean, the
mills
mills
may be
are shut
closed,
down.
Certainly.
but the housing is still viable.
Okay, and what about the mill buildings themselves?
Well, a lot of them are being rehabilitated for other uses now. As for
Okay, well, that's a
condos and-
positive, isn't it?
Most definitely. We've had a lot of
Excellent.
out-of-town investors see the potential there. And again, it's, you know, history being an economic driver.
And many of them are being revitalized into condos and apartments and done beautifully. And one's upcoming that will be an art center for the county
And where is that going to be?
at Monaghan.
No, Brandon.
Brandon.
And it's going to be an art center?
That's what they're
That's
looking
right.
at. They're working with
Yes.
Clemson right now and in discussions all together, trying to figure it out.
So they all have possibilities.
Yes.
And you're involved in this
Yes.
constant
It's exciting.
Yeah.
revitalizing.
It's very exciting.
Well, and there are tax credits too for these buildings. South Carolina
Now,
has,
what do you, how do you mean that?
if you put in the expense to rehabilitate these older buildings, because there is an added expense
Oh,
with older
sure.
buildings. But the county or the state realizes that, and they offer tax credits for developers who want to come in and rehabilitate these buildings. So,
And the county's working on those tax credits, and you can also get a national tax credit. So, and I think it comes out to 30 or 40%.
So that's quite a help.
Yes.
most definitely.
So there is a whole commission of people like you dedicated to preserving what we had.
And we also have a lot of people who are advising us. We have just volunteers who come in and advise us about various things too. And they are, I mean, we just couldn't do without them.
Right, a wealth of knowledge.
Okay, now we have something I guess very critical that many people know about. It's been in the news, and that's the Wilkins House. And this is a gem, if ever there was, a beautiful, beautiful mansion. And many people have been concerned and trying to save this house. So we're going to take a quick break and come back, and you can bring us up to date, all right? We'll be right back.